China's embassy in the US has issued a bold statement. If war is what the US wants, be let it be a tariff war or trade war or any other type of war, we are ready to fight till the end. Is this just rhetoric, or does China actually have the capability and strategic positioning to back up such a challenge? How seriously should the US and its allies take this? I think the US and its allies should take this very seriously. The Chinese have the world's biggest navy in terms of numbers, and the warships are increasingly more sophisticated. The Chinese are technologically almost as advanced now as the US. The Americans tried to impose chip sanctions on the Chinese, semiconductor sanctions. The Chinese have just produced their own technology. Now they can make chips of any size, whatever dimensions it is. The Chinese have almost caught up with the US, even without the photolithographic machines that ASML manufactures. Even without that, the Chinese have been able to catch up with the US. In terms of EVs, etc., the Chinese are ahead of the US. In terms of when it comes to stealth technology, fighter planes and all that, the Chinese are almost right up there with the US. When it comes to drone technology, the Chinese are right up there, or maybe even ahead of the US. Ahead. When it comes to AI, the Chinese seem to be perhaps, at least in public, ahead of the US. So the Chinese have the economy, the second biggest, largest economy in the world, right? So, so yeah, the US will take this very seriously. You may remember from 2007 or 8 onwards, or 2012 onwards, the Chinese entered this phase that we call wolf warrior diplomacy. Their diplomats suddenly became super ultra aggressive, issuing threats against everybody all over the place. Super aggressive diplomats. And this was called wolf warrior diplomacy. And you may not have noticed that ever since COVID started, 2019, 2020, thereabouts, wolf warrior diplomacy suddenly disappeared. And the Chinese have been very quiet since then. They have been hiding their strength, like Deng Xiaoping would say. They've suddenly realized, around that time, they realized we need to just keep quiet, keep a low profile once again. So since COVID happened, the Chinese have kept a very low profile. They've stopped making threats. They've stopped pushing people around. They've been very quiet. And now, at this juncture, if they issue this statement that we are ready for any kind of war, I think the Americans need to take it very seriously.